everyone. Good evening and welcome to tonight's English presentation. My name is Rosimar Zaragoza. Yeah, I go by Rose. That's easier for everyone. And I am going to be talking to you tonight. We're not doing a business opportunity presentation. We're doing something different, something that it's near and dear to my heart. And anyone who's known me for more than a second knows that about me. So I am going to be talking about organizing your business, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. And while I share my screen, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I chose this topic. So I've called my presentation "A Place for Everything and Everything in Its Place." That is in my heart. My poor husband. He is not as organized as I am, so it's been a almost 10 years of marriage struggle, and me not being lenient and him being messy. And you can't hear him, but he's complaining from the other room. So a little bit about me. My name is Rosimar, like I said. I am an organizer at heart. I keep saying that if I had another chance of a career, I would be a professional organizer. I love organizing. It makes sense to me. It makes me happy. Like, for example, when I was in college, if my desk, my house wasn't organized, I couldn't study. So, like, I made sure that everything was in its place, especially during the weekend, which I did a lot of cramming sessions. And it's just something that I need. It's something that helps me focus. So I want to talk a little bit about my past job. I was a medical technologist before I started, before I became an affiliate for Vidavina. And as a medical technologist, one of my roles was writing procedures and making sure that everyone was on the same page about what we were supposed to do in healthcare. And that helped me a lot. And I was very good at writing the procedures and making sure everyone followed the same steps. And I was the organizer in the lab. We actually moved from one facility to another, and I was the one who arranged all the drawers. I arranged everything, the bookcases. I make sure everything made sense and everything was the same for everyone. And that's just what it comes naturally to me. So in my home, I'm gonna be honest, my drawers are pretty amazing. I have to say that. They're pretty organized. Everything has a place. And I love that. And now that we have a baby, you can see in the picture. Now, I make sure that I translate that to my baby. Now, my husband's another case. He's a grown up. He is not as organized as I am. So, working on that on his end and my end. And in my thinking, the way I do things, I thrive on to-do lists. It is anal, I will say that, but it's the way that I get things done. Angel Flores, which is our maths leader in Vida Divina, Puerto Rico, and our team, he calls me the machine, and he calls me the machine because I start and I finish things, and I just get a bunch of things done. And it's because of these organization skills that I'm able to do that. I have a almost 5-month-old, and my baby is not in a schedule. He's in some sort of schedule. Like, he usually sleeps around this time of day and usually eats around this time of day, but there's really no set schedule. We don't have like set naps or anything like that yet. He's too little. He's going through some changes, and so I have to write down my things so I'm able to achieve them. And especially when I was pregnant, if I didn't write it down, it never happened. Like, it was never gonna get done. So I've translated that into my working from home, making sure I actually wanted a planner. Planners are super expensive. I refuse to pay $50 for a planner. I'm too frugal for that. So I actually made my own. I found some things online and I printed them on some sheets and I cut the sheets, and now I have my own planner, and I make sure that I write my customers, who I sell to, who I need to follow up on, when I need to follow up on, if I have any appointments, and if I have anything to complete, any tasks. I make sure I do that so that my working from home doesn't become a mayhem. So making a list and checking it twice. in our business in Vida Divina and working from home, this network marketing career, we have too many things happening at once. We have products we need to keep track of, whether it is you made an order or you sold a product, you want to make sure the customer received it. If you send it in a mail, if your order was received, if you placed the order like a week ago, Vida Divina, did they ship it? Did you receive it? We have sales, we have money that we need to keep track of. My husband has a great presentation on how to organize your money for your business. It's called envelopes for your business. We have to keep track of our clients. We have to keep track of, did they start the product? Did we do a follow up on them? Did they purchase? Did they want more product? Is the product working for them? Is there anything we need to work on with the clients so that the product is even better for their health? We have to work with our teams, whether you're recruiting or you're maintaining your team. You have to make sure you talk to them. I want to say that I made it a point that at least every other week I contact the people on my team. I still have a small team, which is easy. But as teams grow, it's going to get harder for me to reach everyone. But I just want to make sure, like, hey, how are you doing? You said your son was sick. How's he feeling? Things like that. That make sure that I have contact with my team, and it's just not me working from Orlando. Everyone else is in Puerto Rico, and I'm just like this phantom figure. I want to make sure I'm not a ghost to them. And then you have your prospects. Are you following up with your prospects? Let's say you sold them 2 teas and they decided to sell one. Did they follow up with their own people? Did they join the business already? If they joined the business, are they doing the right steps? Did they verify their account? That sort of thing. And then delivery, shipping of products. I mentioned that in sales and products, like, did you receive your order? Did you reorder? Things like that. Making sure that people are active in the business. And follow-ups, I already mentioned that. And those are only some of the aspects to our business, like the major things. But in between each one of those little bubbles, there's so many other things going on. And it can get crazy. And you have to find a way to make sure your business is growing in a way that you can still manage it. For example, I made a chart last week where I put all my team members, whether they're direct team members of mine or they're someone else's that are in my line. And I want to make sure that I know who they are, because sometimes I forget. I don't have their email at hand. I don't have their phone number at hand. So I made a chart on itself and I make sure, are they active? Did they activate this month? When did they join? I want to celebrate their 6 months commitments. I want to celebrate their 1 year commitments in the company. And I also want to make sure that they're moving along, as they're not stuck in just the beginning phases of their business. I want to help them grow. And that helps me know, well, you've been in the business for 4 months, you've only made one purchase, what's going on, that sort of thing. So first things first, my main suggestion is to have a designated workspace, whether it's a desk, it's in your bed, wherever it is that you need it to be, but make sure it's your workspace. Then it wouldn't be your bed. I apologize. But maybe on your dining table, you can have a corner. I personally have a little laptop table in my couch because it's easier for me to deal with my baby when he's on the floor next to the couch, or he's in the bouncer, or he's in his swing next to the couch, or even in the couch sitting next to me, or I'm holding him. And it's just easier for me. I do have a desk, and in my desk I make sure I have my products, I have my labels, I have my envelopes, things like that, since I do about 99% of my sales through mail. And you want to have your things at hand's reach, or at least you need to know where they are. It's very hard when you need to print labels and you have no idea where their labels are. And then all of a sudden you need one promo material and you need to find the paper, the sheet with all the labels, and then you have to load it into the printer, and it becomes this 10-minute ordeal when it could have been just like a 2-minute thing or half a minute thing. And I suggest you keep it tidy. It's just going to make your life easier. It's going to make it seem nicer. That's a good picture of what a tidy desk is. Everything you need is right there. And it's organized, and it makes it easier for you. It makes it more visual. Maybe you're the type of person that has an organized chaos like my husband. I love your husband, but it is an organized chaos. And you know where things are, and it makes sense to you. So you got to do what meets your need. You need to meet your need. And if your organized chaos is how your brain works and it's how you function, then ignore everything I'm saying and do it that way. He's like, I'm watching you. um, but you just have to do what works for you. In our case, my husband has his desk, which is a lot bigger than mine. I just need a small space. I have a smaller computer, and also I work mostly from the couch, and it's just what works for us. Our desks are actually front to front, so if we needed to work together, we can just like move his monitor a little bit to the side, and then we can work together as well. So you need to know your stuff. You need to sort your clients. And why do I suggest you sort your clients? When you have 5 clients, this is super easy to do. When you have like 200 clients, it's very hard. I try to keep track of how many sales the one client has made. For example, I have a girl who's actually bought tea from me 5 times. And I keep saying, you could be earning money. You could be earning money, and she actually is interested in business now after her 5th sale. Her 5th purchase, I'm sorry. And she's bought tea for her friend, she's bought tea for her sister-in-law, she's bought tea for herself, and she's like, oh, okay, so if I buy more, how much would it be? I'm like, you can join the business and earn money instead of making money for me. And it's just something that if you have clients like that, this would be an easier way to track. But like I said, this only makes sense if you have a little amount of clients. When you have too many clients, it can become mayhem. But I make a point to keep track of how many sales I made for these return clients, and maybe even do offers for them since they've been so loyal. Also, to keep track of purchases, it's very important for you to do your inventory. It's very important for you to know what you have, what you don't have, what the company has, especially now that there's some products that are not available. It's very important to do inventory and make sure that you are keeping track of what you have and reordering weekly or monthly, however it is that you reorder. I personally like to reorder on Sundays. I pay more shipping, but I also have my lines moving. I make sure I have product coming every week. It freaks me out when I'm down to like 12 teas, but I know I have an order with like 5 packs of tea coming, and that makes me feel more comfortable. And I get packages basically every Wednesday. And then make note of prospects. When you have a client that sort of wants to know more about the business, but they're not quite ready, just make sure you know when to follow up with them, when to follow up with your clients, start your product, when to follow up with a potential prospect. At people who I'm like, so are you interested in trying the tea? And they're like, no, next month. And then next month I'm like, so are you interested in trying the tea? Well, in 3 weeks. So that's why I use my planner for. I make sure I write down their name, and it might seem naggy, but they haven't said no. So I'm going to continue looking to reach them until they say no. Oh, yes. It's very important to empower others. Your prospects, it's very important to remember them. I've talked to a lady. She told me her life story. This is all through chat because I do a lot of my sales through Messenger and Facebook. And she told me she was going to have a surgery, so I make sure to make note of the day of her surgery so I could ask her a couple of days later, hey, how are you feeling? And it just makes, especially for me that I'm doing all my sales online, I want to have that relationship with my client. I want to have that human contact, which we sometimes lose. Like, I buy on Amazon all the time, but I don't even think there's humans behind Amazon the way I do my purchases. Oh, I apologize. For baby. I don't. Daddy, where are you? Okay, Daddy's here. I like, for Amazon, all I imagine is robots because you never talk to a human, and that's not the type of business I want to have. I want to make sure that my clients and my prospects know there's a human here who cares about you, who wants you to do better. So I invest in a business relationship, and I try to make it personal. Like, if I have a phone call, which happens a lot, in which my son decides to cry, like right now, I make sure to say, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize for my baby. He's the reason I'm working from home, and make it a little bit more human, make it easier for them to see me as a person, not just someone who's trying to like push a product to them. Also, just to have contact with them, make sure you keep contact, make sure you know their preferred method of contact. There's people who prefer phone calls versus people who prefer WhatsApp versus people who prefer Messenger. And if I know that they're gonna be someone I talk to a lot, or they ask me to call them back or send them some information, I make sure to ask them what's your preferred method of contact. And it just makes it human, makes it more organized. And when I save their names on my phone, I actually use I write in a parentheses if it's a prospect, if it's a client, if it's through Messenger, if it's through my fan page, if it's through text only, if it's only through phone call, if it's WhatsApp. I make sure I do that so when they call me one thing, I can just say, "Hi, Lisa, how are you doing?" And also because if I need to contact them, I'll know the preferred method of contact as well. And it's just gonna make it more organized for you because if you write to someone through WhatsApp and they just don't open their WhatsApp, then you're just wasting your time and eventually their time because they're gonna reply and it's late and they're never gonna get the information. It's just gonna be mayhem. So dollar bills, y'all. You need to organize your money. It's very important for us in our business to reinvest in our product, to reinvest in our business. So we make a point to at home. We make a point to divide our money, the money that we're going to use to pay our bills versus the money we're going to use for the business. We have a budget. And we're able to do that. Thankfully, our business is going well enough that we have more than our budget, which is a blessing. So we divide our money. We make sure that if we're gonna take money from our commissions, that we don't take money from the product. If I sold a jar of capsules of, I don't know, Gano, I make sure I take my $40 back and reinvest it and buy another Gano. And then I can take my commission however I want, whether I want to reinvest it or if I want to take it for whatever we will use it at home. And it's just very important to keep track of that stuff. It's very important as well to keep track of how much money you made within your month, especially with the binary and all that, because that's what I tell my prospects. I tell my prospects, I made, I don't know, $400 in sales last month. But you know that with the binary, I made $400 more, and they'll be like, "What?" So I'm like, you can sell the tea and earn $400, or you can do the whole business and earn $800, and it just opens their eyes to possibility of the business, and it helps you show them what you're doing, how your team is it's growing. That's helped a lot for people that don't know about network marketing. It's helped them, at least my prospects, it's helped them to know that it goes beyond sales. It's about teamwork, and also tells them, I earn from you, so I'm going to work with you. And then reinvest in your business, reinvest in advertisements, whether it's postcards, flyers, fan page promotions, things like that. Make sure you know what you're using, especially when it comes to tax season. It's very important. And it will ease your process when you are organized with your money. It's going to make it easier for you to know how much you can order. If you sold 5 products, then you should be able to reorder at least 5 products. And it's going to make it easier for you to know what products you need and keep up your inventory. Teamwork. It's very important to invest in your team. Invest your time, and this has to do with organization, because without you being organized with your time and knowing what time of day you're going to have for your business, it's just going to collapse. Especially for people who have a full-time job apart from the business. Someone like Janet, who is right now working like 20-hour days, prepping for an event. It's very important to just be able to say, okay, if I start work from 8 to 5, and it takes me 30 minutes to go home, and I need to decompress a little so I can see clients after 6 p.m. or I can talk to clients after 6 p.m. And it's just important to invest that time in your clients, in your team as well. It's good time to message, text, call, follow up on your team. Like I mentioned earlier, I make sure that I contact my people every other week or every third week just to say, hey, how you doing? It doesn't have to do with the business. I just want to remind them, you're part of my team and I'm here for you. Resources. Sometimes you'll find you need to find resources to help your team. For example, we have YouTube page where, thankfully to Edison Carlo, he made all these different YouTube videos about how to manage your online office. What's it called? Your back office. Your virtual office. And I think that's very important to have those resources available for your people, and it's investment on your people, on your team. I send it to all my new affiliates and I tell them, please watch this, and I promise I'll help you if you have any questions. I want you to be able to know how to do it and duplicate the effort, because you're going to be doing this so much. You're going to be signing up so many people. That actually makes them happy. It makes them know, hey, I need to learn this because it's going to be me. And that's one of the ways I support my team. And that has to do with organization, because if you don't know where these resources are and you don't have them readily available for your people, you're not going to have duplication, which is one of our 5 steps. So, organizational ideas. I live by my planner. My planner goes with me everywhere. It's actually a mini binder. I made my own sheets. I can share them if you want. And just send me a private message. And I just print them in my computer. I cut them. I make holes in them. And it was just what worked for me, since I couldn't find something that worked for me for my specific needs. Have a calendar if that works for you. Have post-it notes. Where I used to work in a hospital, I had so many post-it notes hanging from my computer screen. They made fun of me, but things got done. I live by to-do lists, like I said. There's so many apps available for organizing yourself, organizing your business. You can have a command station. When I stop sharing my screen, you're going to see our command station at home behind me. There's a calendars for a couple of months. That's where doctor's appointments are at, if we have any trips coming up, that kind of stuff. Make sure you do appointments. I work through Facebook, and it's very important for me to keep track of people. I write to approximately like 30 to 50 people a day. So it's very, very easy to lose track of them. So I make sure that if someone tells me, call me on Tuesday, I make an appointment. That's one of the options in Messenger. You can do an appointment, and it will remind you an hour before your appointment so that you actually talk to the person. And I will confess that many, many times I have missed my appointments. I tell people that I'm going to call them at 2, and it comes 2:15, and that's when I remember, because I didn't open my planner early enough, or my baby was crying, I was feeding him, or I just was doing something else, left the house. And I am guilty of that, and I am working on it. I'm trying my best. Now I've started to put alarms on my phone. Like right now, when I finish this conference, I'm going to call my godkids, and I want to make sure that they're in Hawaii, so we have a 6-hour difference. And I want to make sure that I call them when a time that they're home from school, since it's such a big time difference. So I made an alarm on my phone. I want to make sure I'm able to keep investing in these relationships. You can have a desk organizers. You can have inventory sheets. I actually made an inventory sheet if anyone wants it. Has all the products, what your set limits are. Like for example, I always want to have like 17 life in my stock. I want to make sure I have at least like 8 ganos. So when I do my inventory every week, then I can keep track of how many I need to order versus how many I sold, and all that type of stuff. So this was very overall overview of how to keep your business more organized, how to keep yourself more organized, and I just want you to have ideas. There's so many things out there that can help you get organized, but do what works for you. If you're a visual person, have some kind of calendar, some kind of board. If you are a person that doesn't like working with your paper, you just rather do everything on your phone, like my husband, then just make sure you have your notes and everything you need on your phone and available, or your computer, or your laptop, or your tablet. That's another thing. But find what works for you and stick to it. Anything you try for 30 days, it's going to become routine. So even if it's just an investment of time at this moment, like you're too busy, you're like, I don't have time for this. Try it for 30 days. That's my suggestion. And it will stick. I think 21 days is when it becomes routine. 30 days is becomes a habit. And that's just something you can do to ease yourself. You're going to have the benefits in the long run. If your business is organized, you can teach your new team members how to keep their business organized. And then you're duplicating that factor, especially with Vida Divina, which is growing so exponentially fast. It's too easy to lose people in the line, keep forgetting. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to this person in 2 months. I wonder how they're doing. They haven't been active. Are they even selling products? Do they have any products? Are they doing well? Are they healthy? Are they? I don't know. That kind of questions. So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. And I want you to think of ways that you can improve your business by being more organized. Whatever works for you, like I said. But think about ways that you can organize your business and it's going to have great results in the short and long run. So I want to thank you all for joining, and I'm going to stop recording now. And if anyone would like to share ways to be more organized in their business, I would greatly appreciate it.